Notre Dame recruiting fans, thank you for joining me for yet another video on the channel. My name is Fred Huesby, and I am bringing to you the Notre Dame May 2021-2022 recruiting class mock class. I'm starting with the D-line. I have 6 guys. I said in yesterday's video, the defense will have a lot of guys, and here we go, 6 guys. 3 of them are currently committed. Aiden Gobiara, Darren Agu, and Tyson Ford are those 3. All 3 solid on their pledges will be at Notre Dame this June for official visits. Donovan Heinisch, Cyrus Moss, and Anthony Lucas are 3 more guys that I do expect to end up in this class. I'll start with Heinisch. I think he commits sooner rather than later. He's just 100% waiting for his spot. For the people that are saying, don't take Heinisch, what's he going to bring to the table? I'm just not for that. Donovan Heinisch, some people, especially people at Notre Dame, think he has more potential than Kurt Heinisch, and Kurt Heinisch has started for, I believe this will be his 3rd season starting or getting a ton of playing time, and he figures to be one of the top 2 or 3 defensive players this season alongside Kyle Hamilton, Drew White, MTA, and Kurt Heinisch. So you can't complain with that at all. Donovan Heinisch, I hope he ends up in this class, and I do expect him to. Anthony Lucas is another guy. Reportedly, his parents are big on Notre Dame. That is always good to see. No picks have been thrown in for him to end up at Notre Dame quite yet, but I could see 1 or 2 in the following weeks. UCLA, Texas A&M, Bama are a few others here, but at the end of the day, Mike Elson has made him a huge target, and I think he will end up in this class. And then Cyrus Moss, this dude might not be committing for a long time, but I'm liking where the Irish sit here. I do think they lead. Clemson was always interesting to me. I don't think he really cares about how far away his school of choice is from his home in Nevada. Florida was a little surprising to be in his top 5. I thought a school like Oklahoma or USC would. Arizona State has done a great job recruiting those West Coast kids. And then Oregon. Oregon is probably Notre Dame's 2nd biggest competition right now. West Coast school. Appeals to a lot of those Nevada and California kids. But at the end of the day, I do think Notre Dame takes care of business here as well. Really values academics. Bishop Gorman is a good academic school. Athletics, of course, they're one of the top schools for basketball, football, baseball, all the sports. But football in particular, Bishop Gorman has built something special. And one of his positional coaches, Nico Ferretti, used to play for Notre Dame. That was before I got really into Notre Dame football, so I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but reportedly Nico and Cyrus have built a pretty good bond, and at the end of the day, if you have a coach who went to Notre Dame and has only – and you see every single day and he tells you good things about Notre Dame, what more can you ask for? That's an additional recruiter on top of Mike Elson, who always does a great job and runs recruiting at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, of course, is very vocal, very outgoing, definitely targets more daily or more weekly than Clark Lee did. No shot to Clark Lee. I love Clark Lee, but Marcus Freeman is a guy who is a dog on the recruiting trail, and that's what you need if you want to land a top 80 player like Cyrus Moss. Oklahoma and USC are still involved here, I'd like to note, but right now I think Notre Dame leads. Now, this recruitment could be taken well into the fall or even the winter, but Notre Dame, no matter what, even if they land Heinisch and Lucas and have 5 guys committed, they will let Cyrus Moss in this class. He might be the number 1 target on the defensive side of the board. To linebacker we go, and I have 5 guys. This has been speculated upon a lot. Burnham and Ziegler are locked in. They don't see them decommitting, flipping, not talking to other schools. And then Sneed and Tuihalamaka, I expect to both end up in Notre Dame's class by the end of the summer. Tuihalamaka is looking at committing on his dad's birthday, June 18th. He will be at Notre Dame the weekend before the June 11th through 13th weekend. And then Sneed, I believe, will be there the 18th through 20th, that massive recruiting weekend. He'll be at Oregon as well at some point. He might be there the 11th to the 13th, but I like both these guys to end up in this class. Sneed's parents are really high on Notre Dame. Same with Tuihalamaka's. Tuihalamaka is taking an official to Texas. Not expecting that to matter much. Sneed is taking an official to Oregon. I don't expect that to mean much either. I like both these guys to join Burnham and Ziegler. And then Sebastian Cheeks, top left on your screen. If Clark Lee was still the defensive coordinator, I'm near certain this dude would be committed right now, but it's okay. Cheeks didn't have the greatest junior year. That's no shot to him at all. I think he's fallen off down the board just a little bit, but he's still a really top guy. I want to make that clear. He's still one of the top guys on their board. But Sneed and Tulimaka are bigger targets, and numbers-wise, I don't know if they can take 5. They took Kahanu Kia last year. I'll be honest, I'd much rather have Cheeks than Kia, but it is what it is. Last year's class was phenomenal nevertheless, and I love Kia as a player, but we'll see. 2023, they are looking good at the linebacker spot. Sonny Styles, Trey Edwards, Drake Bowen, Troy Ford. They're doing well in 2023, and there are only so many spots. And then finally, for the DBs, I only put 4. I was close to putting 5. I was debating putting a guy like Nikkei Martinez, close to putting a guy like Jake Pope, but I decided to stick on just these 4. Jaden Mickey is solid with his pledge. I am a huge Jaden Mickey fan. I think he's going to rise in the rankings, crack the Rivals top 250 next time they do their rankings. Jaden Bellamy is also a guy who I think can crack the top 250. Rutgers is involved, but not really. Don't worry about that. Penn State and Ohio State are the main 2. I'd say more Penn State and Notre Dame. The Irish are battling here. They want him in this class. If he wants in, I have a hard time see them saying no. By the way, they are no longer recruiting Jaden Gold from Bergen Catholic. Another corner that they offered a while ago. I believe he might have been their first offer in the 2022 class back in 2019, but just a little heads up there if anyone was wondering. Devin Moore is a huge target, one of Brian Kelly's favorites. Alabama, Florida are making some noise there, but at the end of the day, I think this will be a Florida-Notre Dame battle, and one Notre Dame can win. Would not be shocked at all if he commits to Notre Dame before he gets back to his home state of Florida following his June 11th through 13th visit in the Bend. But Devin Moore, definitely a name to look out for. I'm a huge fan of him. And then Benjamin Morrison is another guy I'm a huge fan of. Top 250 corner. You always like to see that. A pick went in for Washington 2 days before I made this video. I'm making this video on May the 25th, 2021. Surprised by that pick, to say the least. Very surprised. I could definitely see some Notre Dame picks going in soon. I'm expecting him to end up in this class by the end of the summer before his season starts. And just everything a Notre Dame young man is. Chose to go to a smaller, private, more academic school for high school over the big dogs in California like Chaparral, Pinnacle, where Spencer Rattler and Tosh Baker went. Chaparral is where Anthony Lucas went. So he decided to stay small, and I think that will pay dividends in the end for Notre Dame. Has the big offers to Alabama, Florida State. You cannot complain with his offer list and his ranking. And some of the best corners and safeties in the country. I really think these guys are all top 250 recruits. These 4 guys are looking dangerous and would match really well with Philip Riley, Ryan Barnes, all those 2021 corners and safeties as well. And then 2023 is looking really good as well. Javon Thomas, you got a few others, especially safeties. Ethan Nation, Terrence Love, Jack Luttrell, who could go into a rover linebacker type player, but really, really high on Notre Dame defensive back recruiting right now, and just defensive recruiting in general. Marcus Freeman is putting in work. Chris O'Leary is doing a great job. Mike Mickens, of course, is doing a great job, and Mike Ellison, as he's always done. So that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. I will respond to all comments in Notre Dame football recruiting. And that is it for me.